Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be going over the Dolphins versus Bucs game, breaking it all down for the Dolphins and the Bucs in today's game. Before we get started though, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. That would really help my channel grow. Really appreciate that. With that said, let's dive right into the video and I hope you enjoy. So, once again, I feel like I say this every week, but crushing loss for the Dolphins. I mean, it's really hard to watch. It's really hard to watch. Hopefully Tua is back next week because it's getting worse and worse. It really is. That's kind of what it is at the end of the day. It's getting harder to watch. I thought Jacoby Brissett actually did a pretty good job in this game. The interception he had was a Jaylen Waddle drop pretty much, and he did give up a fumble. But overall, I thought he played a pretty good game. And the reason he played a pretty good game was I thought the Dolphins had a pretty good offensive game plan. I'm not going to lie. They didn't really run the ball that often. And I thought that really helped them. It helped them a lot, actually. Because they weren't running the ball super much. I mean, they barely had 10 rushing carries on the game. It wasn't necessary for them to be behind the chains all the time. And when they were, productive, it was because they were throwing the ball. They were throwing the ball deeper downfield, finding their receivers, finding their tight end, finding their wide receiver outside. But also Gaskin was a huge part of the passing game too. I mean, he had 10 catches for 74 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like he was really productive. But overall, it comes back to Brissett. He started the game off really, really well. He was getting the ball out quickly. The offensive line, although it wasn't great in today's game, it wasn't great, don't get me wrong. It was better than we've seen in previous weeks. They gave a little bit more time. There were a few less penalty calls. They did a little bit better job in pass protection. But it was because Brissett was getting the ball out quickly. He was getting the ball out quickly. He was flinging the ball downfield. He wasn't really scared of the defense. These were all really positives from today's game. And I thought that they went in with a really good game plan. Throwing the ball on early downs, not really running the ball, taking those deeper shots downfield, looking for the tight end, looking for running back, especially in the passing game. That was really good, especially against a Bucs defense that was kind of thin at corner. Running game wise, there wasn't too much for the running game today. They just didn't really run the ball, but that's because they threw the ball a lot. And Myles Gaskin was absolutely fantastic through the air. I mean, 2 touchdowns. Brissett was really looking to him in the checkdown game, but also over the top on those little over the top routes too. Really good separation. Preston Williams, I thought, played pretty well too. Did drop a touchdown at one point. But at the end of the day, I thought that his ability, he's in a way, he's a worse Devontae Parker. He's a little bit rawer, not as good in high pointing the ball or using his body to create space, but he played fine. Waddle had a really tough game in this one, made a few nice plays, but overall wasn't where we expected him to be. We really expected him to be that true number 1 receiver for them in this game. And Preston Williams was that guy at the wide receiver position. But as I said, the offensive line was slightly better, but still not good enough. Brissett was getting the ball out really, really, really quickly. And that was really the only reason this offense was productive in any way. Defensively, I mean, the entire defense, when you're playing Tom Brady, it's going to be hard. I didn't think that the pressure was good enough. There was not enough pressure up front from the guys rushing the passer. I don't think the secondary did a good job. Xavier Howard got beat multiple times today. Byron Jones looked absolutely awful today. On one play, Nick Needham was running the wrong way, trying to make a tackle. It was just very messy in the secondary. And to be honest, I don't think there was a defensive players in today's game where I was like, wow, they played a really good game. They really did what they did. One standout for me, Jaelen Phillips did have a sack. I guess that's good. But really, I'm really trying to find something defensively here for the Dolphins. There really wasn't much. They couldn't stop the Bucs defense. And at the end of the day, this was a game in which the Dolphins offense carried the Dolphins performance. It really did. And in previous weeks, the Dolphins have been in games because their defense has been carrying them. But at the end of the day, the defense didn't show up. I mean, when you give up over 40 points in a game, you really don't have a chance to win, especially against a Bucs defense that's pretty solid. For Brady and the Bucs, I mean, fantastic game. Like Brady throwing over for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Like that's exactly that's the Tom Brady that is the Super Bowl champion. We saw that in today's game. Leonard Fournette had a good game on the ground. He had a rushing touchdown, was over 65 yards on the ground too. But I mean, if you just look at these numbers for the wide receivers, they're absurd. I mean, 2 touchdowns for both Mike Evans and Antonio Brown. Godwin still had 7 catches for 70 yards. Brown and Evans both had over 100 receiving yards. I mean, not only was Tom Brady spreading the ball out, I mean, he threw a pass to Gio Bernard, threw one to Brait, threw one to Ronald Jones, O.J. Howard, Tyler Johnson, Leonard Fournette, as well as obviously the top 2 receivers. I mean, he was spreading the ball around. He was being efficient. Didn't really throw that many incompletions. just really, really purposeful with the football, and that's why Tom Brady is Tom Brady. Defensively, though, I mean, the main thing for them is, I mean, Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett played a really good game, had 2 sacks. Jamel Dean had an interception. Levante David had a sack too. I thought the secondary did a really good job in the second half clamping down, especially once the Dolphins were forced to throw the football. I thought the Bucs defense in the secondary did a really good job. But overall, I mean, this Bucs defense I still think can improve. I mean, they did a good job holding the Dolphins offense at times. But you got to remember, this is a Dolphins offense without Devontae Parker, without Tua Tagovailoa, arguably their 2 best offensive players. So that's that. And I thought they could have probably put more pressure on the quarterback. I'm not going to lie. They only had 3 sacks in this game, which I think, honestly, with the amount of talent they have up front, they could have easily had 5 or 6 sacks, but Brissett was getting at the ball quickly. But overall, they did what they had to do. They let the offense really take control, and that's what the Bucs were able to do. They were able to put up a ton of points because Brady was throwing the ball really effectively and efficiently down the field. And at the end of the day, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, they were making plays, and Fournette on the ground too. So overall, it goes back to the Dolphins' inability to stop the run, inability to stop the pass, defensive liabilities, offense not being in sync. It's the same thing. Hopefully it gets better next week against Jacksonville. In London, Tua Tagovailoa, hopefully he's able to figure something out. Him coming back hopefully next week is really going to hopefully make the Dolphins semi, good on offense, be able to do something on offense. But as of now, this Dolphins team is in a very rough spot. They're going to need to figure something out. I don't know if it's a Deshaun Watson trade, but they need help. They need help. And, after coming to the season with really, really high aspirations, it's really tough to see them in this spot. And it's hard as a fan. It's really hard as a fan. But they'll keep grinding. They'll keep getting better. Hopefully they can get a win against Jacksonville next week, move back to 2 wins and 4 losses. But really just tough loss in today's game. Really hard to watch game for the Miami Dolphins. But at the end of the day, for the Bucs, big win, nice win. Move to only 1 loss in the season, 4 wins on the year, moving to week 6 with a lot of momentum after Brady, had an absolutely great game. I mean, they even brought Blaine Gabbert at the end of the game. He was that good. So with that said, great game by Brady, great game by the Bucs. Crushing win over the Dolphins. Really, really tough.
And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see ya.